adoption places or taking their books there and reading. Right. Right. Right, and they're socializing the dog, and they're becoming confident. It's a win-win. That's what I mean. It's just a win.
What a gift it is. Who here is a happy, joyous, still speaking God listener? Me. Yeah, isn't that cool? Welcome to Katiza, where God is still speaking and I'm still having a good time. How about you? Well, I invite you to rise and share the peace of Christ. The peace of Christ be with you. Makes everything we do here better. I love it. Thank you for all of you that were part of it. I'd like to invite Anthony up to help me this morning. That Anthony. God of justice and peace, you color the world with mercy and kindness.
We stand in awe and wonder before your marvelous artistry.
God of promise and love, you illuminate the skies with rainbow and sun rays.
We rejoice in the majesty of your creation.
The spectrum of your love reveals light all around. The hues of your love warm our spirits. The vibrancy of your love saturates us with hope.
Blessed is the God of love, whose heart expressed in Christ we anticipate.
We light this candle in abundant hope that the radiance of you, O God, will shine in our hearts, coloring us with hope as we anticipate the coming of Jesus Christ.
We who wait on the Lord are filled with hope.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see, our band is a little bit smaller today. The rest of the band decided to go to Disneyland, and so Emily is kindly helping me out this afternoon. So this is a standing up song. So everyone, I need help standing and singing. It's a song about hope. Once in a lullaby. fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and bluebirds fly. Why, oh, why can't everyone with the oohs.
I love when you change in the middle of worship.
I find myself changing a lot. This is not a standing song, but it's definitely a singing song. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, thou my true word, I ever with thee, thou with me, Lord. Thou my creator, and I thy true kin. Thou in me dwelling, and I one with thee. Riches I heed not, nor vain empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, thou and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart.
As we begin the season of Advent, we begin with the theme of hope, and we're going to read some selected verses from Isaiah. Scholars believe that probably at least 3 people contributed to the writing of the book of Isaiah over a long period of time. Chapters 1 to 39 speak of the southern kingdom. Israel was a northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. So the southern kingdom of Judah, just before that northern kingdom, was invaded and colonized by the Assyrians. The prophet Isaiah saw deep spiritual corruption and complacency among the people and warned them that this would lead to decline and defeat. And indeed it did. In 587 BC, at the hand of the Babylonians. And after the invasion, many survivors were taken as exiles to Babylon. So 2nd Isaiah, the writer of chapters 40 to 55, addressed those Judean exiles, inspiring hope that they would someday return to their homeland and rebuild it. That soon happened, beginning in 538 BC, under the leadership of Ezra and Nehemiah. That rebuilding was the setting for 3rd Isaiah, chapters 56 to 66. So here are some words of hope to the people then, and words of hope to us. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. If only that was true. A shoot shall come out of the stump of David's father Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of its roots. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him. The wolf shall live with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf and the lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. They will not hurt or destroy on all my holy mountains, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the seas. Here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations. He will not cry or lift up his voice or make it heard in the street. A bruised reed he will not break, and a dimly burning wick he will not quench. He will faithfully bring forth justice. Kids? I'm going to sit. How about you? Happy Thanksgiving. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? You can look over this way. Isn't that a nice picture of hope, though? Yeah. What do you think hope is? If you're going to look that way, I'll look that way too. I hoped you would turn around, but you won't turn around. What do you think of when you hear the word hope? Does anything come to mind?
Friendship.
Friendship. Yeah. Do you hope to have friends? Yeah. Hope. Together, hope helps us bring friends together, doesn't it? Yeah. Hope and friendship, yeah.
Hope to make people happy.
You hope to make people happy. Can you think about some ways that that can happen? Any of you? How can we help make people happy? Make things for them?
Be polite to them.
Be polite to them. Be nice to people. Yeah. What else does hope bring to mind for you?
The knowledge that something good will happen.
The knowledge that something good will happen. And how does that work? You're going to go out with Margot, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between wishing and hoping. oh, I wish I'd win $1 million. I hope I win $1 million. What's the difference?
You're doing something to, like, ensure that it'll happen when you hope.
When you hope, you're taking some actions toward that happening. Like maybe you're buying a lottery ticket or 1 million lottery tickets. Maybe you're building a business up. Maybe you're making friends with somebody who you think maybe would give you $1 million. So wishing is more like, oh, I wish dinner was made for me. Do any of you have like a genie in your house where you just go, okay, genie, ready, I'm ready for dinner.
Isn't that called
It's on
mom?
the table, huh?
It's called mom, right?
Mom, that's what mom is for. Huh? Genies aren't real. Sometimes we have to do more than just wish that something will happen. And we hope. And hope means that we're working toward it. Like the safety pins that we're wearing. We're trying to build a world where everybody feels safe. And we can't just like wish everybody was safe. We have to work. Sometimes we have to change laws, and sometimes we have to protest, and sometimes we have to give a hand to somebody and a hand up to somebody. So this season leads toward Christmas, and there's 4 weeks in Advent, and each week we're going to have a different theme. Do you have any guesses about what the other themes might be, like what Christmas kind of means to us? If hope is one, what are some other themes? Any help from the congregation? Joy, hope, joy, love, and peace. Those are the 4 themes of Advent as we work our way to Christmas, where we say Christ, who is Jesus, who is all these things and becomes the Christ for us, helps us, gives us a vision of what it means to hope, have joy, do love, and have peace. So, and I know you all have been working on a pageant, right? That's going to bring that message to us as well. So we're looking forward to that. So this week, I hope you'll think about hope and talk about hope, okay? And be hope to other people, okay? Thank you. I hope I can get up.
My name's Braxton Hathan.
I'm Trent Hathan.
I'm Mary Jane Ridge Hathan.
And I'm here to talk about the disease of addiction and recovery and everything in between. Grew up around alcoholism and addiction and seen a lot myself that would make most people want to stay away from it, and it did for a long time. I didn't start using until I was about 18. My addiction progressed really, really quickly. You know, I was a good student. I had a lot of friends. I had good family support. My grandparents, they're an example in their stability.
My dad was a doctor. My mother was a doll. She was gorgeous. But everybody would ask me what was the matter with my mom. When I worked for my dad, my mom would be in the back room waiting until my dad would give her some drugs. And I saw him give her things that he thought would help her get off the drugs. She shot herself in the shoulder in a lodge. And I thought that that was my trial in life. Little did I know that my children and grandchildren would be addicted to drugs.
It was fun in the beginning. I felt like it enhanced. I used continuously. I used before I went to bed, I used when I woke up, and I used every few hours throughout the day. So when I started to live this double life, and it started to tear me inside, because I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't want to stop. It all caught up to me eventually, like it always does. You know, people find out, you start to change. I did all those things, in and out of jail, swearing that I would never do it again, trying to go back to how it was in the beginning. You know, the only time I ever remember coming to and thinking and feeling the guilt and shame is when I had luckily been been locked up and put in a detox cell in jail. Your heart's racing, you got the cold sweats, and you're feeling all these feelings and emotions you've been running from for so long, and they're intensified. That's when I started to feel like my life wasn't mounting up to what I wanted it to be, and I hit that bottom that we talk about. But I didn't care if I lived or died. I couldn't do it by myself. I needed help. I needed other people like myself that were doing something different. And I remember seeing my dad back then and the desperation and the confusion, and I realized that he's an addict, that he's an alcoholic, and that he was caught in the midst of his own personal hell.
My first drink was at age 6, and my last drink was at age 50. I knew when I hit the rooms of AA, that was my second chance in life. I went in the rooms knowing nothing. I just wanted a better life. This week is my 2-year chip, where I would pick up my chips. I say these 2 years sober have been the best 2 years of my life. And now I'm on the other side of the coin. I'm helping people. I'm of service. I share a meeting. Don't look him up down the road. You do one day, and you stay sober for that one day, and that day turns into weeks. Those weeks turn into months, and those months have turned into 2 years.
I admire him a lot for getting sober when he did, his age with his circumstances. And when you're ready to hear it, you'll hear it. I've seen enough of the light to where I know where the real answer is and where the real hope is. I got clean November 16th of 2011. I was able to become employable and get back into the workforce and become a valuable employee, and I'm completely out of debt. I got married 6 months ago to an awesome woman that's also in recovery. And we communicate, and we're there for each other when we're both headed in the same direction, and we get each other. I was born an addict. I have the disease of addiction. I actively used for about 10 years, and I've been clean for almost 4, and I'm heavily involved in the 12-step fellowship because that's where the answer is.
Oops. What a story of hope, huh? I'm going to stand here today in front of all this awesomeness. Even if you don't listen to me, you can look at all that. So underneath there it says, by Brian McLaren, I've been reading his book, We Make This Road by Walking. It's a book of 52 short readings, 2 or 3 pages each, with questions at the end, suggesting to us that faith is and was never intended to be a destination, a status, a holding tank, or a warehouse. Instead, faith was intended to be a road, a path, a way out of old and destructive patterns into new and creative ones. My first thoughts when I saw the title of We Make the Road by Walking reminded me of La Flor, Nicaragua, a village in the cloud forest. When we first arrived there over 9 years ago, Main Street was this wide. It was a footpath through the grass and through the weeds, and it seemed like you walked one person behind the other. Today, and it is true that some machinery came through years ago and cut a 10-foot wide swath path up through it to carry in the electricity poles, but the path really is now a main street. And literally day and night, you can see the community in motion. Women, men, children, horses, teachers, students, microcredit stores, a community center, volunteers, nursing students, the mayor's officers, curious visitors wanting to see what this village has that they don't have in their hometown. A community has been built. And they, the people of La Flor, made the road by walking into partnerships with unknown gringos, now friends, trusted, where together we all grow in faith. So I wanted to use this McLaren book shamelessly for this theme and throughout Advent, which begins with hope. These are some of Brian's words. To be alive is to desire, to hope, and to dream. And the Bible is a book about desires, hopes, and dreams. We talked about this last week when I was with the teens in confirmation. The biblical story begins with God's desire for a good and beautiful world. God called it good, of which we are a part. But it doesn't take long for the story for some to have the desire to kill and to enslave and to oppress others. Enslaved and oppressed people hope for liberation. Wilderness wanderers desire a promised land where they can settle. Settled people dream of a promised time when they won't be torn apart by internal factions, ruled by corrupt elites, or dominated by stronger nations nearby, just like Isaiah's people and by us. Desires, hopes, and dreams inspire action, and that's what makes them so different from a wish. Wishing is a substitute for action. Wishing creates a kind of passive optimism that can paralyze people in a happy fog of complacency. Everything will turn out just fine. Why work? Why struggle? Why sacrifice? Why plan? Guess what happens to people who never work, struggle, sacrifice, or plan? Things don't usually turn out the way they wish. In contrast, our desires, our hopes, our dreams for the future guide us in how we act now. Our daughter Caitlin knew she wanted to be a doctor from the time she was 3 years old. And she watched those TV shows where they took out the spleens and they operated on eyeballs. Oh yeah. But she worked on that goal. She studied organic chemistry and molecular biology in college while she was on the golf team. Her hope guided her into medical school and now residency. She didn't just wish her way into being a doctor. Nor Jessica, wanting to be a Spanish teacher. In college, she took the opportunity to study in Spain and said, you know, Mom, if I can't make it this one semester in Spain, I'll never make it as a Spanish teacher as a career. She's now 10 years into teaching, head of the language department, has taken high school kids who had never been outside of their county to Madrid and Barcelona. She didn't wish her way into the career she loves. So what does this mean for us this Advent in our personal lives, in the life of Katizo, and in the world created in love that is so in need of hope? When we look back at those stories in the Bible about prophets like Isaiah and prophets like Jesus, we see that they were custodians of the vision, of the best hopes and dreams and desires of their society. Isaiah, Jesus, to name but two, challenged people to act in ways consistent with God's hopes, God's desires, God's dreams. And when Isaiah and Jesus saw people behaving in harmful ways, they warned them by inviting them to picture the harmful things that would happen if they pursued that course of action. Isaiah spoke of a vision, a hope that the lion would lie with the calf, the leopard would lie down with the kid, and that even a child could lead them. Now there were centuries between Isaiah and Jesus, but the prophetic dreams never really died. The Jews were invaded over and over again, sometimes with some improvements, but it was the Roman Empire that finally seized power, subjugated and humiliated the Jews, and tested their hope like never before. And still their hope lived on. It remained alive in people like Elizabeth and Zechariah, Mary and Joseph, Anna and Simeon, and even among humble shepherds who lived at the margins of society. Jesus most often quoted the prophet Isaiah in his words, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. God has appointed me to bring good news to the people." And that dream of hope has remained alive by countless nameless people of faith throughout the centuries, even through people like you and me and Katizo, and the lives we touch near and far, lives seen and unseen. So to be alive in this adventure of Jesus, we are called to make the road by walking. We are called to have a desire, a dream, a hope for the future beginning with our next breath, the future beginning with our next word, the future beginning with our next purchase, the future beginning with our next post on Facebook. We are the ones who will translate this amazing hope for the future into action in the present, and to keep acting in light of it, no matter the disappointments, no matter the setbacks, no matter the obstacles, no matter the delays. And so we begin this Advent season. We light a candle, and we keep it burning for all who proclaim God's hopes, desires, and dreams. So I invite us to keep God's flame glowing strong in our hearts, even now, and let us together make the road by walking. Amen.
Shine a candle into the darkness, breathe new hope into our lives. Wind your blessed peace around us till the day when Christ arrives. Shine a candle in the darkness, wind your blessed peace around us. Shine a candle into the darkness, breathe new hope into our lives. Wind your blessed peace around us till the day when Christ arrives.
Thank you. And we'll be singing that song throughout Advent as well. As a community of faith, we come together to share joys and concerns, to lift one another up, to carry one another's joys and concerns with us. These are some of the names that have been shared with us. I invite you to share more names. Also, CJ Hengler's back to work and doing well, recovering from his motorcycle accident. Max was in a car accident. He's still having pain in his left arm and right hand, but he's doing better as well. Crystal, Tina, Judy, and Tom were names all lifted up, all struggling with liver cancer or liver issues. So we continue to keep them in our prayers. We keep our Katizo Sober Living House in our prayers as our doors are now open and Rhonda's there, and the dream is happening. Hal Holman has been doing treatment for a week now and is quite weak, but we keep him and Mary in our prayers. Michael is recovering and working his program as well. Shirley Ferner was back in church. She fell. She had she tripped over her grandson's backpack, of all things, but she She's fine. Yeah, she still is a shiner, but she's good. Jennifer Warchell, some of you may know, she was in a car accident also, is in the hospital, has had like 3 surgeries on her leg. She may be being released soon. Keep her in your prayers. And at last service, Susan was lifted up as a person who's just been diagnosed with cancer and close to Kylie Nelson. Other joys, concerns you want to share with us for our prayer life together? Ted's tennis game? It needs help? Okay. Well, Lord, hear our prayers. Ted? That's just wishing, I think. That's not hope, that's wishing.
Work hard on that. No, I want to offer a prayer of thanksgiving for all the people who spent time with cutting knife to make the beautiful.
Our prayerful paper cutting. As you can see, we're still waiting for baby Jesus. And there's shepherds, I think, that will maybe make their way to the manger as well. So, yes. Other prayers?
Can I just make a comment or a statement? All those who missed our Thanksgiving potluck, you guys really missed out. It was the best Thanksgiving I can ever remember having. Just the feeling, the food, and then I'm not going to remember the church that the 3-generation came and provided some goodies to us.
The Eritrean church that worships here in the afternoon, a family, grandmother, mother, granddaughter, brought in lasagna and salad and watermelon and all this food, really in honor of loved ones and in honor of blessings in their lives. And we shared some of it around the table, and we took some to the park and fed some folks there as well. So yes, it was, hope you all had a good Thanksgiving, and it was very good. Ted?
One of the prayers I'd ask us to raise up to God is, over the last few weeks, there's been an intense activity by the police arresting a number of people who are in the park, and we ask God to protect them and to give us an answer to the problems we all face.
May God give the great grand niece of Sue share some life with courage and hope and wisdom.
Thank you. So let's take some quiet moments and join our hearts, minds, spirits in a time of prayer and a time of hope. Let us pray together. God of love and mercy, thank you for this Advent time of waiting with hope. Merciful God, we are fully aware that not all your people are able to bask in hope during this season. We pray for hope within all walls, walls within our homes, walls that surround each city and town. We pray that during this season of Advent, we may break down walls that separate and divide. May we speak hope, live hope, do hope. May we be moved to compassion and action in your name. We pray this in the name of Jesus the Christ, who taught us all to pray, saying, Eternal Spirit, earth maker, pain bearer, life giver, source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God, in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echo through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. So imagine now a master painter preparing to create a work of art. We see a blank canvas, a handful of brushes, a palette of vivid colors. But what we do not see, what we cannot see, is that which will bring the art to life: hope. Hope is what allows the painter to imagine what the face of the blank canvas can become. Call it vision or insight, hope guides the artist's heart and hand in creating art that can be seen and experienced. We too have access to this type of creative expression. Armed with hope, we dab our brushes into the infinite spectrum of colors, the vibrant hues of generosity, the brilliant shades of kindness, the warm color of love, and we create. The result is a type of art that breathes generosity and kindness and peace into the world. Our morning offering.
Let us be joined together in prayer. Holy God, we ask your blessing on these gifts given today. We ask that you reward our hope and magnify these gifts in ways that bring glory and honor to you. Bless our broad brushstrokes selected from the power of your great love, so that the art in us illustrates your unending kindness and grace. O God, we yearn for your coming and wait with hope. In the meantime, may we be found being generous, performing acts of justice, and living honorably. Awaken us to your coming, and awaken us to an ever greater spirit of generosity and of hope. Amen.
Guaranteed to bring a smile.
This, if you want to know what inspires my day, we have a Noah who just is a delight. It's funny when he sees his grandma on FaceTime every day. When I hear it, it's like, ah, ah, ah. He starts jumping and bouncing wherever he is. That's the face of love.
And Grandma hates it.
Grandma hates it, yeah. Welcome to all. We are glad you're here today. We would like to give a gift to you if this is your first time being here, and if you need it, I could do that otherwise. Worship team meets tomorrow at 1:30 here at Cotizo in the middle building. Anyone is invited to come and be a part of that biblical conversation and that world conversation that we'll be a part of. Monday Night Football, if you like to come to my house, I'd gladly have you come. Men and women, whatever, are welcome at my house. And we have, I think we're having pastry delights tomorrow night. And anybody who wants to dive double chocolate bears, be there. Naranan here at 7 o'clock in Cotizo in Center Building. Men's breakfast at 8:30. if you'd like to help with Refugee Homework Club, it's at 4:30 at Woodbridge, and we can connect you up to that. Next week, this coming Saturday, Nancy's going to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to have an alley pickup. I will not be there, even though I was the one who had this great idea 2 years ago. Nancy does the work, and I'm so grateful for her. Come join her. December newsletter articles, please. If maybe you were a part of a fantastic Thanksgiving meal, you might want to write about how it was for you. If you're in a choir that's trying to really reassert itself, you might want to write an article quickly and beautifully. You know, if there's some part of the ministry, like the Sober Living House, that you'd like to communicate, we need it, and we'd rather not wait until like 6 months from now when it was due this week. So if you could get on it, send us an article, you would absolutely bless us, all right? I laid it on heavy, but it's just, it seems like you have all this time yet, and you're overdue. Write something for me, and we would love to share it with the rest of the family, okay? Really? There's also farm fresh eggs, and
technically they're nest run eggs.
okay, excuse me. Say it again?
Nest run eggs.
Nest run eggs. They're eggs.
They go from the chicken's nest straight into the carton and into the fridge.
And then into my mouth, generally.
Also delicious.
Also absolutely delicious. And if you want, she also has three other kinds of eggs that she can also do for us. But I buy them every week. Pardon?
Quail eggs?
We have quail eggs and duck eggs and goose eggs and, oh. No, chicken, yeah, chicken. Nancy, would you speak to this, please? You're on.
Our Sober Living House is open. Rhonda's moved in. We've had one woman move in with us. This is a 3-quarter house for women who have completed their 90 days sober. As we get moving on this and move toward the next steps, we want to have about a 3-person oversight steering committee. We have 1 person and actually maybe a 2nd person to be on that, to meet maybe monthly, just kind of keep us on track, move it in a sense away from the Cotizo Board of Directors. And Ted is holding up a card. We've made up a card that you can take to AA meetings, rehab places, to get the word out about our new opening house. And
they're on the back table if you would like one, or I have one here in my hot little hand.
Okay.
All right.
And Becky's here.
We need to make sure we get those to Naranon also.
Yes, we'll leave some on the table for Naranon. Thank you.
All right. This morning, I'd like you to take a second before you answer. I'd like you to reflect for a minute. This was a wonderful pair of questions that Nancy brought for us today. What one thought or idea especially intrigued you, provoked you, disturbed you, challenged you, encouraged you, warned, helped, or surprised you today? Okay? Second, we'd ask you to share a story about a time when you kept hope or lost hope. Take a second, just reflect on what is the word spoken brought to you today. How's it touched you? Yes.
So I was thinking about hope and how I think it's interesting that you put in there that you lost hope. I think I can definitely think of a situation where sometimes you have to lose hope for something that's harmful to you in order to gain hope for something else. I was married for 17 years, and the last 6 months of my relationship, we had fostered 2 kids, and I was so excited because we were going to adopt them, and I was finally going to be a dad, and I was so excited. The problem is that the woman that I thought was going to be Mary Poppins ended up being Nurse Ratched, and one night during an argument, I was holding our 3-year-old foster daughter, and she looks at me, and she's tried to hurt me, and she said, "Emmett, every day when you go to work, I wish that your car would go off the side of a cliff and you die. You don't deserve love, you don't deserve friends, you don't deserve family. I have no idea why I spent the last 17 years with someone like you." And I think in that moment, I lost all hope of ever having a family with this woman, that I'd ever be a dad. I had to leave. That was Saturday night. at 8 o'clock. Sunday morning was my first day at Katizo. And I think just, I let that go, and it was hurtful. And then through that, I was able to hold on to like a completely new life, completely new person. So sometimes you can't hope for something that's never going to be. Anyway.
Wow. Wow. Anyone else that would like to share a story? Just
I have a son who is a recovering alcoholic. This will make you cry. And on Thanksgiving, I was so, time goes by and you lose track of how long it's been that he's been sober. But he shared that he was having his 6-month anniversary. And I just give thanks every day and hope that it lasts.
Praise be to God. Yeah.
Was it Norwegian prayer? That one we did?
What was the prayer we did, Nancy?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Prayer.
What's that?
Lord, give us the strength to let us, the part about where you run into evil, and it says, make it so we don't have to endure the evil that is out there. And in the prayer, just remind me that God's always with us, no matter what. And doesn't matter how evil the world can get, God can deliver us from it, as long as you believe and hope.
This last 2 years, I've been really working the concept every day. I've been on this for like 5 years, but every day trying to see everything as love. Doesn't mean accepting everything that ever happens to you, but it's like just seeing it as whoever I'm with is love. Wherever I'm at, I'm love. And in the last few months, I've been witnessing that my brain sometimes still will go on to like the old message that the person's belittling or the other person is being mean-spirited in some way. And when it comes, it's been an interesting thing because right behind it is just starting to happen regularly is taking their words as a statement of love. And sometimes it's like peeling off my stuff I put on it and seeing it as a beautiful gift. Like when somebody will say something that's sarcastic, that's how I take it. But when I listen to it and don't take it in, but let it reflect for a second, it's amazing how God transforms. And I have so much more joy, far greater times of love than of fear or hate. It's been amazing, and I have, it's just, I've witnessed it at least 12 times this week where something happened, and notably, it hit me.
Well, I've had so much hope in my life since Katizo was risen up. I have to say that somehow I don't know if it's because of Lou or in memory of him, but I'm involved in these sober living houses, and I don't know a dang thing about it, and I just kept quietly moving forward, and the Lord just keeps making it go in the right direction. And the people who, Rhonda and Julia, I don't know you yet, but they've been down to the bottom, and all they want to do is get back. And it's just amazing from every single one of them I'm involved with. They just want to get back. It's amazing.
was with a friend this week who, I think it's 6 years, he was in jail 6 years ago for armed robbery and a couple other things. And he was a drug addict. And he got out 6 years ago. About 3 months before he got out, he made a decision. While he was in jail, he was as high as he had been out. But somewhere about 3 months before he got out, he made a decision, which I wish so many more could make. And he said, I'm going to put myself, I'm going to graduate from high school, I'm going to stay sober, I'm going to build a life. He's about 5-6 months from getting his master's and license as a psychologist. And I don't know whether he'll do a PhD or not, but he's got, he hasn't got a constant 6 years of sobriety, but he has been in that process of sobriety for 6 years now. And I was with him this week, and he said the child that lives inside him that gets scared is that, you know, when that child gets scared, he does his thing. He's learned now that when the child gets scared, he can go, I love you. And that actually that God thing has allowed that child to just settle, calm down, and his desire is like poof. I sat at Lucy's sobbing Monday morning as he was telling me about it, and I hadn't recognized, you know, when you walk with somebody for quite a while, you can't see it because you're so close, but somehow in his statement, it hit me like, holy shit. Look, yeah, it's like, it just hits you and you just go, how can this be? And this person who I'm sitting with is dazzling, beautiful. And it had nothing to do with me. I just got to go along for the ride and to love and to see him. That's how I see Cadiz now. That's how I see our sober living house. That's, if nothing worked, and then this sober living thing has just been like, it doesn't seem to be able to be stopped. In spite of us. In spite of us. Praise be to God. Anybody else before I appreciate all your words. Thank you. I invite you to join me if you would like to. Go into the world and keep awake. The time is drawing near when God's hope will be revealed. Go into the world and keep watch. The signs of God's light are breaking into the world. Go into the world and nurture hope for justice and peace this day and always. Amen.
All right, so this is a standing up and clapping and singing song, all three.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. You guys are great. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Covered in dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, bright sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright sunshiny day. Look all around and there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. One more time. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Get a new perspective with the Sky Viper streaming video drone. When the whole world is your playground.
I love it.